I am JPO. I'm the owner and artist of the Purple Posy. I'm a content creator for Dixie Belle, and I am a private coach and a mentor for my membership group, Painting Over Borders. So welcome, that's all about me. So today what I'm going to do is I have painted this beautiful buffet behind me with the new silk paint, and it is in the color Harbor. I've got them right here. It's in the color Harbor, real pretty soft blue, and then the top is in Wharf. So the new silk paints, they don't need to be sealed or anything, and it's a very kind of a matte finish. And I wanted this buffet to be classy and a little bit more glam. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to use a stencil, and we're going to add a little bit of just a real subtle like shimmery, silvery kind of color to it. So when the light hits it just right, you'll be able to see the stencil outline. And what I'm going to do that is I've actually mixed up a concoction here of Dixie Belle's Clear Coat Gloss, and then I've added a little bit of Silver Bullet, the Moonshine Metallic in Silver Bullet. And it's about, like, the clear coat right here is about right here, and then the Silver Bullet, when it was settled, was about right here. So not a whole lot, just a little bit. And so I'm gonna put the stencil on here, and we're just gonna apply it. And I'm gonna use a little blue sponge that we've got, Dixie Belle offers, and we're just gonna dab it on there and pull it back, and you'll be able to see the magic. It's gonna be super cool. So I started to do my staging wall like this, and it looks really good. Okay, so to get started, I'm just gonna take your Moonshine Metallic and also your gloss will separate. They're water-based, so they'll separate as they sit. So I'm just gonna take, I've just got like these little thingies here. Hey from Scotland, I'm down in Texas. So hey from Texas. And I'm gonna stir it up really, really well. That way we get everything mixed up together, there's no separation, and we'll get started. But you've got to make sure, even if you're just applying a clear coat or your gator hide or even your paint, that you stir it really, really well. Just shaking it's not going to do it, and you really shouldn't shake your top coats, but shaking it isn't going to do what it needs to do. It's got stuff at the bottom that's going to settle. Hey fellow Texan, hey Tina. All right, so I've got that good and stirred up. I'm gonna set that to the side. I've got a little plate here that I'm just gonna pour this on, and like I said, we're gonna just dab it on with the blue sponge. Before I do that though, let's get our houndstooth stencil on the piece. So this is the houndstooth. Dixie Belle has 3 of these stencils available. They're newish. They've got the Morocco and the damask. And I've used both of those, but I've yet to use the houndstooth. So I thought today would be a good day to do that. And we'll just tape it on here. So I try to cut these, I try to cut it so it would fit pretty much flat up against my piece. And I'm sorry if my head's in your way right now. So we're just going to kind of eyeball it and make sure it's straight, because I'm sure I didn't cut very straight. I'm fairly certain I did not. And we'll tape it. We'll just tape it down in a couple of spots. Has anybody used any of the new stencils? These came out, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago. These new stencils. Have y'all used them yet? They're super fun. Like I said, I've used the damask and the Morocco. I just finished up a little project with the Morocco. And they're so pretty. I love the different styles. We've got something for everybody, you know? I'm just making sure this is semi-straight. I'm just eyeballing. I probably should measure, but that requires a lot of, it just seems like a lot to measure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It can be a little bit lazy at times. Don't tell anybody, okay? I'm just gonna keep it between you and I. Alright, I'm gonna put one little piece down here. Just one little piece. Because I'll be holding it as I go. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take my little concoction here and I'm gonna pour just a little bit on the plate. And this is gonna be so pretty. And now I'm hoping this works. I have it envisioned in my head how it's gonna work. And I'm hoping it does. It worked on my staging wall when I started my staging wall. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is you don't wanna get too much on your sponge or your brush. You could use a brush. I actually brought out my small oval just in case I wanted to, dab it on. You can use a little brush if you want. But if you're gonna use this, which you can totally do, and you can wash it out when you're done, you wanna make sure you don't have a whole bunch on there. You see how it's kind of globbed up? So I'm going to just wipe it off on the side. And then we're gonna come in and just dab it. You're not gonna be able to tell anything on camera, which is kind of sad. But the sheen is gonna be so much different, and it's gonna, like I said, it's got that metallic in it. So you'll be able to see there. I'm hoping, I'm hoping I can get this done pretty quick. That way I can pull it back and you guys can see while we're live what it looks like. So I don't have to be super careful about going over onto the next one because it's all the same color. So if you were doing like alternating colors or something, it might be a little bit more difficult. Can you guys see? Yeah. So I'm not putting very much on my sponge. I'm literally wiping it back to like that much. And I'm holding it down as I go, just to ensure. If you put too much, it will go under your stencil and you'll have a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. Don't stress it. You can always touch it up. This is gonna be super cool. So as I said in the beginning, if you're just jumping on, this is actually painted in silk paint, the new silk paint line in Harbor. And the silk paint has kind of a matte finish. So I'm thinking, my whole thought process behind this was with the gloss and a little bit of the silver moonshine metallic, it'll have just a little sparkle that's oh so barely noticeable. And especially when the sun hits it just right, or the light hits it just right, you'll be able to tell. I can touch that up. No big deal. I can't wait to see what this looks like. This piece is done. This is all I've got left to do to it. And I saved it just for you guys. It was hard not to touch it this weekend, but I wanted to show y'all just a different way you can use these stencils. If you don't want anything crazy, anything super colorful, you want something really subtle, this is something that you can do. You could even mix just a dab of paint in with your clear coat and get the same effect. Something really subtle. You don't have to go all crazy. Not that all crazy is not pretty. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying this is a different way to do it. I typically like to do a whole lot of like boho blending and colorful stuff, but every now and then I'll do something semi-classy and elegant. Change it up a little bit, right? So you want to make sure you're not doing this, you're just dabbing. Because when you do this, you're gonna catch these little things that are sticking up, and you'll definitely get it under the stencil and it won't be as crisp. Now when I pull this back, there may be some spots that are like that. I'm not gonna stress about it. I'm not gonna stress about it, because if it doesn't turn out the way I have it envisioned in my head, it's just paint, and I can come back over it with a small layer of, or a thin layer of the silk paint. Never water it down though, just FYI. Cover it up and do something different. It's just paint, guys. Play in the paint. Again, this is what I'm putting on, not a whole lot. And this is going pretty fast. I might get this whole thing done live with you guys. Kind of monotonous, but I can't wait to pull this back and show y'all. And you can, I don't know if y'all know this, but you can heat coat. That made a whole lot of sense. Heat gun your top coat. You can totally heat gun them. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't let it cure, but when I move the stencil over to do this door, you know, the rest of the door, I'm gonna have to heat gun it so it doesn't stick. You know, the top coat doesn't stick to my stencil and mess anything up. Oh, this is gonna be pretty, I can tell. I can already tell. And the moonshine metallics, you know, there's all different kind of colors. You could do, you know, not the silver bullet, the still magnolia. You know, I could have even gone with one of the blues or the deep woods, the green. Something different. All right, y'all ready to pull this back? I'm ready to pull this back and see. Let me switch y'all a little bit this way, and hopefully we'll be able to see the sheen and the difference. Go this way. Oops, oh well. Oh, it's super subtle, I love it. Can y'all see that? Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Can y'all see that, how subtle it is? Oh, I love it so much. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blast it with a heat gun real quick. Oh, I love it. Because I'm gonna have to overlap the stencil to continue on with the even, you know, the even straight lines and stuff. I don't want to mess it up until it's dry. Now there are some spots where I got a little heavy. I can see. It's not that big a deal. If I was super OCD about it, I would just come in with an artist brush and cover it up, which I will have to do like right here. I got it over the edge. But I'm not gonna stress about it. It's so pretty. And all it is, you know, the sheen goes from flat to gloss to satin. So satin is the shiniest. This is just a step up from the flat. And you could probably do this with just the straight gloss, just for an even more subtle difference. But that moonshine metallic really makes it pop. Let me bring you guys in close so you can see. Let me just show y'all. Can y'all see that? How cool that is? I mean, it's just super duper subtle. How pretty is that? How pretty is that? And that's super cool. I love it. All right, let's go on. So, in order to, I'll bring you guys down a little bit. In order to keep with the design, I'm going to have to overlap it, which is why I heat gunned it. So this is dry. I can feel that it's dry, so I won't mess anything up. Now, depending on your piece, so this is going to, I'm gonna have to move this. So the way this door opens, scooch y'all back a little bit. I think that'll work. Okay, so we're going to have to tape it to the side probably. So I'm going to come down here and see and just kind of judge, okay, Oh. Having difficulties. Let me put my drink there so it won't shut. So it doesn't quite match up, so I'll just have to bring it up a little bit and come down there and do that strip separately. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just lining up this last row right here with the stencil, which is kind of hard to do because it's so subtle of a difference. And that's about close. Whoops, gosh. This is the fun with the stencils, is continuing on when you don't have, when you've got a larger a larger area to cover. All right. Let me put a piece right here. That piece, hold it up. Okay, hopefully that holds it well. Let me add one more, just in case. That's it there. All right, let's pull her off and see what she looks like. Hopefully it's lined up pretty semi-good. So eyeballing it. If you're like super professional, you would probably measure, unlike me. But that's definitely what I'm looking for. Can you guys see that? Can you guys see that? It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Could you use the stencil technique with a clear or colored glaze? Absolutely. You could absolutely do that. Yep. The glaze is a good idea. I actually have the pearlescent glaze. I probably could have used that. I went with this. I went with the gloss and the silver bullet because it's got the top coat in it. Because the silk doesn't need to be top coated. You don't have to top coat the silk. So I wanted to have the top coat in it, so I didn't have to go over with the top coat. Does that make sense? Instead of using like you know, like a little bit of paint, I'd have to come over it with a top coat to cover it up. And I wanted it to be, you know, subtle matte versus gloss type of thing. But yeah, you could definitely use one of the glazes. Just get creative, just play with it and see what you can do with it. If you have any questions, please tag me, shoot me a message, The Purple Posy. You can find me over on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, TNG, TikTok, all of the things. Thanks for joining today, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye.